Let me tell you something, Bears Nation. When the very man who just eliminated your team from the postseason turns around and calls your quarterback one of the most terrifying players in the entire NFL, you sit down, you pour yourself something cold, and you soak every single word of it in. Because that is exactly what just happened. Mathew Stafford, the reigning MVP, a man with 17 years of brutal NFL battle scars, the guy who threw passes in the frozen tundra of Detroit for over a decade, and the same guy whose Los Angeles Rams broke our collective hearts in overtime during that divisional round last January, just went on the record. He said that playing against Caleb Williams is as scary as playing against anyone in this league. Let that breathe for a second. Not anyone on his team, not anyone in his division, but anyone in the entire National Football League. If you think that is just some polished media fluff, some carefully crafted PR soundbite designed to sound nice during the offseason, you clearly have not heard what Stafford actually said. Because when a future Hall of Famer is still shaking his head months later about a throw a 24-year-old made in the snow, that is not flattery. That is fear-talking. But that is only the beginning of what we are breaking down today. Caleb Williams is not just becoming the most electric quarterback in the NFC, he is also building a reputation as one of the most deliciously petty athletes in professional sports. We have got the receipts on the Troy Aikman situation, new wrinkles in the Joe Buck drama, and a deep look into the fascinating psychological makeup of a quarterback who behaves a lot more like Michael Jordan than your average NFL signal caller. So, buckle up, Bears fans. This is going to be one of those videos where you finish it and immediately want to send it to every non-believer in your life. Welcome back to Chicago Bears Voice. Let us get into it. So, here is how we got here. The Green Light Podcast with Chris Long, one of the most respected football shows in the game, recently had Mathew Stafford on as a guest. Naturally, the conversation turned to that game. You know the one. The NFC divisional round. The Bears at Soldier Field. Snow coming down heavily, the fourth quarter winding down, Chicago trailing, and the entire season hanging by a single thread. Instead of wilting under the agonizing weight of that moment, instead of playing it safe, instead of doing what a lot of young quarterbacks would do and just chucking it out of bounds or taking a sack, Caleb Williams did something that looked like it came straight out of a playground back in 1994. He scrambled back, and further back, all the way toward the 50-yard line. In Stafford's own words, he was watching all of this unfold from the opposite sideline, thinking to himself, "Oh, sweet, here we go. We have got this game won." And then Caleb Williams just stopped. He set his feet, and he launched what can only be described as a jump throw, straight out of NFL Blitz, that old arcade video game, right into the arms of tight end Cole Kmet for a touchdown that sent the entire stadium into absolute hysteria and pushed the game into overtime. Stafford described his reaction in vivid terms. He said the kid sprinted back to the 50 and launched a freaking NFL Blitz jump throw for a touchdown, leaving him standing there saying, "What the heck is this?" And that right there is the entire point. Even Stafford, a veteran of nearly 2 decades who has made his own fair share of unbelievable throws and seen everything a football field can possibly offer, was completely stunned by what Williams showed on that single play. Think about who Matt Stafford is. This is not some career journeyman backup who lucked into a playoff game. This is a man who threw for 4,777 yards and 46 touchdowns in the 2025 regular season alone. He led the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns, and he crossed the 300-yard mark with 3 touchdowns in the Rams' wild-card victory over Carolina. This is a guy who has seen it all and done it all. Yet, here he is in the summer of 2026, still talking about one single throw Caleb Williams made like it completely rewired his brain. During that same podcast, Chris Long acknowledged Stafford's comments, adding that he feels Williams is currently one of the toughest outs in the entire NFL on third down. Stafford doubled down on that, saying that with the ball in his hands, it is as scary as anyone for sure, and you just do not know what is going to happen next. That right there is what every single Bears fan has been screaming from the rooftops for 2 years now. Caleb Williams is not just a good quarterback, and he is not just a promising young talent. He is someone who fundamentally changes the math on every single play, because chaos is always an option he is willing to embrace. Now, before some people in the comments try to pump the brakes and point out that the Bears did ultimately lose that football game, let us be completely clear about something. Yes, Williams threw a critical interception in overtime, and yes, the Rams walked off with a game-winning field goal to end our season. Nobody is trying to erase that reality. But what is also true is that without the heroics of Williams at the end of the fourth quarter, the Bears would not have even been in a position to play overtime. And here is the thing about Caleb Williams that goes way beyond just that one single game. That breathtaking throw to Kmet was not a fluke. It was not some lucky scramble that just happened to work out in his favor. It is a defined pattern. Williams recorded 6 fourth-quarter comebacks in the 2025 regular season, which makes him one of just 2 second-year quarterbacks in the entire history of the NFL to accomplish that feat, joining Peyton Manning. Let that truly sink in. Peyton Manning, the gold standard of modern quarterback play, is the only other man to ever do this as a sophomore. When you look at the wider list of NFL players who have ever recorded at least 6 fourth-quarter comebacks in any single regular season, you are talking about legendary names like Drew Brees, John Elway, Dan Marino, and Ben Roethlisberger. We are talking about the Mount Rushmore of football greatness. Williams finished his incredible 2025 campaign with 3,942 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. Those numbers represent a massive, undeniable leap forward from his rookie year. On top of that, he orchestrated 7 total fourth-quarter comeback wins, if you include that wild card stunner over the Green Bay Packers. 7 in a single season as a second-year player. Before we dive into the wild drama surrounding the broadcast booth, I want to take a quick moment to talk to all of you watching right now. We are currently pushing hard to hit a major milestone of 2,000 subscribers, and we truly need your help to get there. If you love the Chicago Bears and you enjoy these deep dive documentaries, please hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like button, share this video with your friends, and leave a comment down below. We put an immense amount of hard work, sleepless nights, and dedication into producing these high-quality documentaries for you. Every single subscription serves as massive motivation for us to keep creating content for this passionate fan base. Help us grow this amazing community, and let us show the world how strong Bears Nation really is. Thank you so much for the support. Now let us get back to the story. The respect for Caleb Williams is now flowing in from every single corner of the league. It is not just Matt Stafford. Tom Brady has had nothing but high praise for Williams. Around the exact same time Stafford was making his comments, Derek Carr was also dishing out praise for our signal caller on his own podcast. When Tom Brady, Derek Carr, and Mathew Stafford are all independently talking about how incredibly gifted your quarterback is, that is no longer a narrative being manufactured by a fan base desperate for validation. That is reality taking shape right before our eyes. But now, let us get to the part that might be even more fascinating than the actual football. Let us talk about who Caleb Williams is as a pure competitor. Because what is emerging is a portrait of a quarterback who does not just want to defeat you. He wants to make you feel it. He wants every critic, every broadcaster, and every former player turned talking head who ever doubted him to have their face rubbed in it slowly, methodically, and with a smile on his face. He is, as has now been widely reported, an absolute professional at being petty, and we mean that entirely as a compliment. You may have already heard bits and pieces about the Troy Aikman situation, but the full story just got a whole lot more interesting. Let us look at the entire picture. During the 2025 season, the Chicago Bears appeared on Monday Night Football twice, once in Week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings and once in Week 6 against the Washington Commanders. Before both of those massive games, ESPN's Monday Night Football broadcast team, which includes play-by-play announcer Joe Buck and color commentator Troy Aikman, had scheduled standard production meetings with Caleb Williams. These meetings are regular practice in the NFL. Every franchise quarterback does them. It is part of the weekly professional routine. You get on a Zoom call, you talk about the upcoming matchup, you give the broadcasters some conceptual insight, they get to know you a little better, and everyone shows up to the broadcast booth better prepared. Caleb Williams did not show up for either one of them. Joe Buck later revealed that Williams missed not one, but two production meetings with the ESPN broadcast pair ahead of those Monday night games. Buck explained that ESPN was completely willing to hold the calls with Williams on Zoom and strictly on his own schedule, fully accommodating the team's intensive preparation routine, but Williams simply never appeared on either occasion. And here is where the situation gets incredibly spicy. When the Bears won that Week 6 game against the Commanders, and Williams spoke to the media afterward, he subtly implied that the missed connection might have actually been on Aikman's end. Williams told reporters that he did not get to meet with Aikman, that he tried to meet with him and reached out, but the timing just did not work out, claiming that a call he attempted to make after the fact never connected. Joe Buck heard those comments and essentially lost his mind. Buck stated that the part that bothered him the most was the intimation that the broadcast crew was not there, or that Aikman was the one who skipped out, calling it an inaccurate description of how the situation actually went down. He pointed out very clearly that these meetings were set up specifically on Williams's own schedule, and that they sat on a Zoom call waiting forever, and Williams just never joined, twice in a matter of 6 weeks. Buck even acknowledged that they understand players are incredibly busy preparing for a game and that the last thing players probably want to do is talk to broadcasters, but he made it clear that what happened crossed a line. Now, zoom out for a second and think about what was actually happening here. The Bears played the Vikings in Week 1 on Monday night, and Caleb Williams ghosted them. Then the Bears played the Commanders in Week 6 on Monday night, and Caleb Williams ghosted them again. The reason this matters goes way beyond basic broadcasting etiquette, because between those two missed meetings, a distinct narrative was forming inside the Aikman and Buck broadcast booth. When that Week 6 Commanders game finally arrived and Aikman started calling the Bears plays on air, the tone coming from the booth was noticeably sour. Aikman described a beautiful 55-yard catch-and-run touchdown by running back DeAndre Swift as just pure luck on Chicago's part. Bears fans and media observers immediately accused Aikman of holding a blatant bias against Williams, who threw for 252 yards and a touchdown in that game. Caleb Williams heard every single word of that broadcast, and he came prepared. After the game, Williams took to social media, posting his game highlights and captioning them with the phrase, "It was lucky though," in an apparent, direct jab at Troy Aikman. That is the exact kind of move that tells you everything you need to know about this young man's mental wiring. He wins the game. He plays incredibly well. He helps his football team move to a positive 3-2 record on the season, and instead of letting Aikman's dismissive comments slide off his back like water, he screenshots them internally. He files them away. And the exact moment the final whistle blows, he is already on social media drawing a clear battle line. He later admitted that it was just a fun troll job. On the Pardon My Take podcast, he revealed his true mindset, stating that any top-tier athlete who claims they do not see the criticism and do not log it for motivation is a complete liar. Think about who Caleb Williams is comparing himself to without even mentioning their names. Michael Jordan famously invented imaginary slights to use as competitive fuel. Jim McMahon, the beloved quarterback of the legendary 1985 Super Bowl championship team, was just as famous for his sharp edge as he was for his stellar play. These are men who turned perceived disrespect into pure jet fuel. Men who needed a heavy chip on their shoulder just as much as they needed their actual physical skill. Caleb Williams is cut from that exact same competitive cloth. Now, here is the part that is most entertaining about this entire Aikman situation. The idea that Caleb Williams ghosted these Zoom calls not once, but twice. and that at least the second time was absolutely, completely, 100% intentional. One missed meeting, sure, that can easily be an accident. That could be a simple scheduling conflict, a workout session that ran long, or a team meeting that ran over time. There are plenty of legitimate explanations for a single missed call, but twice in the exact same season? That is a definitive choice. That is a 24-year-old man drawing a line in the sand and saying very clearly, without saying a single word, that he does not owe you his time. If you are going to sit up in that broadcast booth and be dismissive of his generational talent, then he is going to be equally dismissive of your pregame Zoom calendar invite. It is pettiness elevated to a beautiful art form. And Bears fans, let us just be honest with each other for a moment. We are absolutely here for every single second of it. Now, let us pivot back to the actual football for a moment, because this is ultimately what everything comes back to. The completion percentage conversation has been the big, echoing knock on Williams through various parts of his early career, and it is a point worth addressing honestly. Yes, there are numbers that do not look flattering on the surface. But when you dig deep into the actual context, the entire picture changes dramatically. The Chicago Bears were among the absolute worst teams in the NFL in terms of dropped passes from their wide receivers throughout the 2025 season. They ranked in the top 5 in dropped passes across the entire league, and they ranked number 6 in a composite advanced statistic that accounts for wide receivers running incorrect routes, stepping out of bounds prematurely, and committing unforced errors that cost the quarterback a completion. That is not a coincidence. That is heavy noise polluting a very clear signal. Once Williams consistently plays on time within offensive coordinator Ben Johnson's system, he is going to become one of the toughest outs in football, not just on third down, but for an entire 60-minute game. The upward trajectory is completely impossible to argue against. He went from being one of the most sacked quarterbacks in NFL history as a rookie to posting dramatically improved numbers across every single meaningful metric in year 2. The offense found its rhythm, the team locked in its identity, and Williams found a version of himself that had the rest of the league nervously taking notes. Here's the wild thing about the exact moment we are in right now with this Bears franchise. The accolades are coming in from places nobody could have predicted. Mathew Stafford, a man who spent years as a fierce rival in the NFC North. A man who grew up as the veteran that a younger Williams idolized when he was just a kid watching NFL games, and a man Williams once publicly called one of the 3 best quarterbacks at the position before his rookie season. That exact man is now sitting on podcasts months after the season has concluded, still gushing about what Williams can do with a football in his hands. Stafford even acknowledged what an unbelievable play Williams made throwing that ball up to Kmet, while noting that there was not a lot of panic on the Rams' sideline because they simply knew they had to go play football. Even in the context of defending his own team's composure, Stafford could not help but marvel at the sheer magic of that throw. The timing of all this could not possibly be better. The 2026 season is rapidly approaching. The Bears, under the guidance of Ben Johnson, now have true continuity, massive momentum, and a franchise quarterback who is operating with a full year of experience in this offensive system under his belt. Williams is not only going to be gunning for historic franchise records in 2026, but a Super Bowl title is realistically within reach because of his immense talent. Let that sit with you for a moment. Not maybe they can be competitive, not they could potentially push for a wild card spot, but a Super Bowl is realistically within reach. Coming from a Bears reporter who has watched this franchise closely for years and has seen plenty of heartbreaking disappointment along the way, that statement is not hyperbole. That is the natural, logical conclusion of watching what this young quarterback accomplished in only his second season in the NFL. For those out there who are still sleeping on just how special this young man is, here is the macro view that should wake you up permanently. He was one of the fastest runners in the entire NFL, regardless of position, in 2025. He has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he can make absolute magic happen when chaos ensues around him. He is the only second-year quarterback since Peyton Manning to rack up 6 fourth-quarter comeback wins in a single regular season. He is being called one of the scariest players to face with a football in his hands by the reigning NFL MVP. He is actively trolling Hall of Fame broadcasters on social media. He is keeping a detailed track of every slight, every dismissive comment, and every single dropped pass that got blamed on him when it was not his fault. He is logging it all, and he is going to spend the rest of his career making people answer for it. The Bears are going to be featured on primetime television constantly throughout 2026. The national spotlight is not going to dim. If anything, it is going to get significantly brighter. That means Troy Aikman and Joe Buck are going to have plenty of games to call where Caleb Williams is the central figure. You can bet that every single time they open their mouths to speak about him, Williams is going to be watching from the tunnel or the locker room, eyes sharp, memory sharper, already thinking about what he is going to post the exact moment the final whistle blows. That is the version of Caleb Williams we have leading our franchise right now. Not the raw rookie getting sacked into the turf. Not the unpolished prospect with all the potential in the world and nowhere to channel it. We have a seasoned, battle-tested, cold-eyed, competitive animal who has been compared to a reigning MVP by the reigning MVP himself. We have a quarterback who majors in petty and minors in losing. We have a city of Chicago that is absolutely buzzing with the kind of electric energy that only comes when you know something truly historic is about to happen. Bear down, Chicago. The best is still firmly in front of us. If you made it this far into the documentary, do us one huge favor and smash that like button right now. It genuinely helps more passionate Bears fans find this channel and join our growing community. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss a single documentary, because we are right here every single day breaking down all things Chicago Bears. We put an incredible amount of hard work and dedication into these videos, and every subscription gives us the motivation to keep going. Now, we want to hear directly from you in the comments section below. Do you think Caleb Williams is already on track to be the best Bears quarterback of all time? Do you love this petty, highly competitive side of his personality, or do you think he needs to clean it up a bit for the media? Most importantly, do you think the 2026 Bears are going all the way to the Super Bowl? Drop your honest takes down below. We read every single comment. This community is truly one of the best in the entire game. Thank you for watching Chicago Bears Voice. See you in the next one. Bear down!